Hello and welcome to another Whip Chat. Today I'm joined with Kat Fimple and Keith Smith. Thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to a wonderful chat all about whips and whip cracking. How are you guys today?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am awesome. Kat, how are you doing?
I'm good. Can't complain. It's hot. It's Vegas, so
Uh,
a lot of indoors
Well,
today.
yeah, where are you located, Keith?
I am in Springfield, Missouri.
Missouri. And it's chilly up there, I'm sure, this time of year, right?
Yeah, the humidity is wonderful. Cab has to deal with the heat, but not the humidity. We get both, so
uh,
we're very
See?
lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm here in Texas, and it's always hot here.
yeah.
The snow is hot.
Dead of winter, it's
Somehow.
hot.
Oh
No.
man.
Well, great. Yeah, this I wanted to talk to you guys about just whips and whip stuff and whip cracking. We're all whip enthusiasts, as you can see. I've got whip stuff around as well, and it's been a few months since I've chatted with the community as well, and looking forward to getting back in the routine of doing these also. But yeah, today our new addition is Kat. And Kat, how long have you been cracking whips? What got you into this?
Well, it was a quarantine activity, so it's been about a year now since I got started. It was like during that time when we were all sick of making like banana bread, but we didn't quite get to the sourdough section, when everyone was doing that. So I had a whip that I've been carrying around for like years, and I've never really cracked it. It was like something I bought from eBay. It was like a 12-foot like rubber bull whip, right?
Oh
And
my
so I was
goodness.
like, either we get rid
Rubber's the
of it.
best. Right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like it was either we do something with it or get rid of it, right? So I took it out and then I just started playing around with it. And then, a few whip orders later, I got involved with the community. Keith kind of brought me in and stuff. And so I
Yeah.
met a lot of wonderful people, a lot of YouTube, and it's been like that ever since. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Wow. What were some of the whips you ordered early on and it kind of got
Oh,
you
gosh, it was
running
like
down that trail?
the cheapest ones you could find on like Etsy. Like it's nobody that
Oh
we
no.
know, right? So it was just like whatever, get a 4-foot bullwhip for like $27. Like done. Okay. Let's see
Oh
where it
my goodness.
goes.
What
Yeah.
could go
So
wrong, right? Yeah.
I know, right? Exactly. So I was using them, my kids were using them and stuff. At one point, I got into like whip making too because the whip fell apart. So I had to learn how to like re-tie the hitch and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was a good experience, I guess, right? So
Right.
yeah,
But I
Did you
mean
get
going
on?
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead,
sorry.
Keith. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Did you get on Nick's videos? Is that where you learned?
I did. Yeah, I found after watching like all of Adam's videos, I found one where it was the one where Nick and Adam were making that paracord bullwhip, and I was like, oh, this is
Mm,
interesting. Who's this Nick person? And so I got onto his stuff, and then I learned from there a lot of you know good stuff. So
right.
yeah,
Thinking back to that rubber bullwhip you had though, what was it
yeah,
that inspired you? Because not everybody will pull the trigger on that either. What is it
yeah.
about Cat that said I need a bullwhip? What
Well,
was that inspiration?
Catwoman, of course, right?
Ah,
Like
okay.
Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was
Yeah.
she that's my, what did you call it? My soul animal, right? Like my spirit
Yeah, yeah,
animal,
yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah, so that's she was the one that got me like, oh my gosh, I've been exposed to like Indiana Jones, of course, right? Growing up with that, and like that was like great. But then until I saw that was and I was like, I
This,
need one. And then like when you're learning about whips, and now this was like years ago before we had like the YouTube stuff, and you're just kind of like on the internet and you're going through eBay and you're like, I'm not really sure about whips and stuff, and I didn't know, and I just know that okay, you need a higher plat count and we want something with kangaroo. But then this was like the cheapest thing I could find on eBay, so it was like maybe like what, under 200 or no, for a 12-foot bullwhip, but
Wow.
it was just something I thought I'd try, and I didn't really do much with it for years, and I carried it around forever. So
Wow. That's I think that inspired a number of people. I know that was
yeah,
really cool when I first saw that movie as well.
right,
It was there's not enough bullwhips in movies. We're gonna
right.
talk
definitely
more
not.
We need to fix that,
about
right?
we need to fix that. Uh, um, Do you get any kind of interesting reactions from people when you're out cracking these days? I mean, because it's not very common.
Right. And usually when I go out to crack, I'm usually with my kids. I'm taking them to like our neighborhood park and stuff, and they're on the
Hmm.
playground and the swings and stuff, and there's like the grassy area, and I'll go out and I'll practice, right? And yeah, usually it's been like usually guys will stop, I'll get honked at. Or they'll stop by and they're like, "Oh, well, that's very interesting. Like, what is this for?" And he's just, for sport, just something for fun. And a lot of them are like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, right?" I've been stopped by security a couple of times, like, "Ma'am, is that a bullwhip?" Yes.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
cool. No, that's great. I can't say anyone's ever honked at me before, but
Right.
no, that's good though. And I think making what's the word normalizing it
Right. Yeah.
is great for it to be to kind of keep it in our culture. It's fading away, and I want to bring it back. It's such a wonderful thing.
It seemed
Right.
like the first time, it's like I first started posting videos, everyone, people automatically go to the weird, creepy aspect of whips and whatnot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then you're constantly trying to explain, no, that's not what that does exist, but that's
Yeah.
not what I do.
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
like, once people kind of get past that and they're like, wait, you can do cool stuff with whip, then they kind of change their mind. They kind of
Right.
see,
Yeah. You have like your disclaimer,
yeah. It seems like
Exactly.
back to what you were saying, what got you into it. It seems like most women around our age were very highly influenced by Catwoman,
Yeah. Right.
and almost all the guys were influenced by Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
Zorro too.
Zorro. Yeah. Zorro.
After I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, I discovered the old Zorro serial shows, the original,
Oh
and
wow,
they were
I haven't seen those.
fantastic because Zorro used like a really long whip,
Mm.
and he did really cool stuff with it. And that's what sounds like I like long whips. That's my thing. But the short whips are fun too. But that's kind of what got me really interested in dealing with the really long whips. So
I see.
if you've never seen the old Zorro serials, they're fantastic.
We'll
No, I
look it up.
haven't. Yeah, we'll have
Either.
maybe it's on Netflix or Hulu or something.
Right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
used to come on at like a weird 4:30 in the morning. You had to get up at a really weird time back before VCRs and stuff.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's how old I am. Yeah.
Is there anything modern that has inspired you to keep going with these whips? I mean, obviously the indie movie Indie 4 came out not too long ago. C recently on Apple TV had a little bit of bullwhip in it. Is there anything modern that has been inspirational for you guys? Either one of you?
Not much in cinema, really.
No.
They actually tried in the Star Wars Episode 8 to put a lightsaber whip in there, but it just didn't work. It wasn't a great scene. But
Yeah.
I'm glad they tried. So I mean, that was kind of cool. But really, there hasn't been really anything in cinema. I just once you've got the bug, it just is kind of there.
Right. Crack addict for life.
Yeah, pretty much. It never really stops. It might wax and wane a little bit. You might have a period where you're a little burned out for a while, but then you wake up and you're like, oh, I've got to go do this.
Right.
That's how it is with me. It's like I'll go through a little bit of a burnout phase, and then I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this and this and this, and I just go out and get out the dinosaurs and do it.
I know. What was his name? In the Kingsman, there was a guy that
Oh
used to whip,
yeah.
Oh, right there.
and it was really cool. He did some awesome stunts in there.
Yep. Yeah, that
But
was really fun.
and in Bad Batch, there was one of the enemies had a saber whip
Oh,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
right.
It was yellow. I've actually thought about making a paracord replica of that. If I could
Nice.
3D print out the handle and
Ooh.
do something cool like that.
Well, now we're talking.
See, now someone's gonna steal my idea, but yeah, go for it. I want to see it.
Mr. 3D
Please.
printer guy.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
See,
yeah, it's my
that's
other
cool.
hobby.
I want one of those. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I've
really
got-
cool.
I got my printer set up over there.
Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the Ender 3. But Yeah, I have too many hobbies, but
It's not a bad thing. It's good.
no,
It keeps you busy, right? Yeah.
right. And I try to get them all to overlap as much as possible.
Right. It's
Like,
all you though, right? See?
yeah, exactly.
It's good. It's not a bad
It's the
thing.
medley that makes up me.
Yes.
Because you just made the new logo on your 3D printer.
That's right.
That's cool. That turned out really good.
Well, thank you. And
I like it.
anybody watching this later can go on Texas Whips, my Facebook page. I've got some pictures of it on the heel of my latest whip. I just mailed off today, actually. It's very. I know.
I know you were sad to see it go, but you got it. You got to
It's
let
so
it go.
hard.
Right? It's like, oh, it's gone.
Out into the world.
Yeah,
Right?
I spend hours and hours. I mean, 10, 15 hours. I mean, I'm not very fast at it. I'm getting faster, but it takes a really long time, and I'm really emotionally invested in it.
Yeah. Right.
Every microscopic detail, and then I have to go off and send it into the world. What was it I told you the other day, Keith? My only child. I want to go out and do crack, right?
Yep.
art,
There you
crack,
go.
Whoever
not
gets
do
that
crack.
thing's gonna love it.
For crap purposes.
You're right. That sounds terrible.
Oh
Yeah,
my
whoever
God.
gets that's really gonna love it. That thing is nice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm very excited with it. I have a couple
Very nice.
videos of demoing it. I still need to post,
Nice.
but
We even got
yeah,
to see Aiden crack it.
right.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, I posted that. Well, just for you guys. Did Kat, have you said you got into making webs. Have you had to see any
Yeah.
go? Have you had to
I recently did. It was the blue one I had posted and stuff. I called it my katana whip, and
Yeah, that was beautiful.
it was really, I was really happy with it, and you know, I made her for a friend, and she's enjoying it now. So hopefully she'll join the whip community and stuff, and then get
Right.
involved with that. But yeah, so yeah, I was really proud of that whip. So it was hard to let it go, but went to a good cause, right?
Right. Yeah, it's
She's not joined the community yet.
She's not joined the community yet, as far as I know. She's off Facebook, but I was like, you know what? I was off Facebook too, but then this guy named Keith, and trust me, it'll be okay, right?
Yeah, you were hanging out over on Instagram,
Yeah, because you know, Facebook, it was kind of like,
and I was like, you need to come over here.
right? Yeah, I was like, I'm off. I'm like, you know, it's just there's a lot. Not my favorite platform for whatever reason. It's just I'm just more comfortable with Instagram. So
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Well,
And yeah, here we are.
A lot of weird stuff on Facebook, but you should avoid that
Lot.
and get with your group of people that you like, and you hang with
Yeah,
them.
right.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the you know, talking about making a whip for a friend, I read something, I think it was in the Ron Edwards book about the How to Make Whips book, that
Yeah.
you probably don't know anyone else that cracks a whip this day and age. That if you
Right.
want people to crack a whip with you, you're going to have to make them. So, you know, start making whips and giving them out to your friends and build your own whip community. And I if that's not, if anyone else remembers where that quote is from, and feel free to correct me, but it's from one of these How to Make Whips books. And there's a lot of truth to that. And like, you just show up with your friends and have a dinner party or something and just bust out the bullwhips next to the barbecue, and you know, the neighbors can clap and stuff or whatever, you show off, but probably
Exactly.
somebody will want to try it out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get them addicted.
Yeah, exactly. See, we're trying to do like something in the park. I have a neighbor that was actually like, I kind of want to do this. I want to try it, you know? And yeah, so I guess I'm gonna make her a whip too, and we'll just be the ladies in the neighborhood cracking whips.
Nice.
Then
With
bring
Key
her
in
in
the
the
park.
community.
Yeah,
We will
right?
bring her, you know, we will embrace her in the community.
Right?
I mean, they still have a bit of a negative connotation in some circles.
Sure.
And I mean, they can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
So,
They're
but
not
still,
toys.
no, they're not. Well, no more. They're not entirely.
Right. Well, not being a toy meaning it can hurt you.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
It's not a safe toy.
No.
I mean, they are fun, but they're not toys.
Right.
Right,
There you go. That's a good
exactly.
way to put it.
There. See?
It's I forgot, lost my train of thought there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to get the community involved and get other people to
Yeah.
join in. I've got a group of guys that before the pandemic, I was meeting up with them a couple times a month, at least once a month, and I would bring all armload of whips. And one of these days, I'm going to make them all their own whip and just guilt them into coming and join.
See, it's fun. That's how you got to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Same idea.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things in the world is when somebody contacts me from somewhere, anywhere in the world, sees one of my videos, just messages me out of the blue. Hey, what kind of whip is that? Where do I get started? Who do I need to talk to? That's like the greatest thing. And you pull them in, then I'll bring them into the whip cracking community, and then they're a new member. And then next thing you know, they post a video, and it grows. That's how this thing grows. It's just one person at a time.
Absolutely right. And I mean that's what we have to do. It's not as common as it used to be. It used to be our the equivalent of our truck drivers were our wagon train, and they all had whips to drive this. You had all these cowboys moving cattle around. Whips were an everyday um, scene. They were just part of the stuff that was out there. So we've got to find a way to keep it normal
Right.
as much as
Make
we
it cool.
can.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah,
There you
exactly. Right? And we make it cool.
go.
Yeah, actually, Christian, I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
because I know you transitioned over from paracord into leather whip making. I had some
Right.
questions, like at
Please.
what point did you do that? And like when did you feel like, oh, I'm ready to like jump into this? Did you just jump into it? Or like what would you tell somebody who like me maybe who is considering like, oh, maybe I want to make a leather whip? What would you do?
I mean, I think the answer for everybody is now. Yes, now is the time
Right?
to jump in. Until you decide to jump in, um, you're not getting any experience. There is some stuff that overlaps. The understanding how braiding works, understanding how to do patterns in braiding if you want to do that, tying on the fall hitch, keeping even tension, and how to drop strands. All those things are basically the same concept between leather and nylon. But with when you transition over to leather, there's a lot of other things that you add into the skill set
Mm-hmm.
that are significantly different. So until you just start practicing them, you're just not practicing them. So whenever you feel like you're ready to do it, go for it.
Yeah.
For me, it was I set a number that I wanted to like go out and invest in some tools and some hides and some stuff like that. But I wanted to have my hobby pay for itself
Right.
was my internal goal. And so I started making a lot of nylon whips and I
Mm-hmm.
was really enjoying them. I'd make one for me and a couple to sell. One for me and a couple to sell.
Right.
I've
Right.
got a bunch up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But um so I sold a bunch and eventually, yeah, I saved up, I don't know, $400 or something. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was enough for me to order a couple of nice hides and know that I'm not spending the mortgage money, so to speak,
Right. Right. Yeah.
and I'm going to cut these hides up. And this is my tuition fee. When you
Mm-hmm.
go to school, you spend that money on education. And Blake Bruning has a nice video series.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a GoPro that you can um, watch over his shoulder
Mhm.
from the middle of his chest or whatever. And you can watch him cut up a hide and make a whip from start to finish. Of course, Bernie has lots of great videos on YouTube as well with a significantly different style of making a bullwhip, not to
Mhm.
mention talking to lots of people. But you have to have a hide. You have to have, I mean, really, actually, I have it right here. I mean, most people will say all you need is a knife. Just
Yeah.
get your good knife, and that's all you need. And I mean, this is mostly what I use. But yeah, I've got measuring sticks, and I have a couple of fancy things. I would even for your first one, I wouldn't bother with buying a splitter yet, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But just get your hide and count it as your tuition cost.
That's a good way to
Uh,
think of it. Yeah.
I would recommend ordering a, kangaroo hide and
I have
practicing and
one. I've
learning.
got one.
You do?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I do. Yeah, I got one from Tori.
Okay. What
It's
color?
ready to go. It's a beige, tannish, tan.
Okay.
It's brown. My first indie whip, right? It's not black. I don't.
Okay. Yeah, they have natural and brandy and whiskey and
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
light,
yeah. I think it's a
like
natural. It's
some.
like a light color.
Yeah, so that'd be a natural. Some one of them is a little more orangey. There's a saddle tan.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
um, but yeah, the kangaroo leather cuts differently. It stretches differently,
Okay.
and yeah, just grab you a knife,
Go for it.
go chop it up, and
Sounds good.
I mean it's going to be terrible. Just tell yourself,
Yeah.
and when it comes out to be, decent, you'll be happily surprised. Or if it
Right.
doesn't, that's what you expected. That's part of the tuition cost.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're ready, if you're asking that question, you're ready.
Yes. Okay.
I think
All
I
right.
think that's the answer.
Right.
If you're still having a lot of trouble with understanding, under 2 over 2 when you're braiding a whip, sure, practice on the cheaper paracord,
Yeah.
but
Right.
you can still learn that. I mean, and you can unbraid a whip over and over just to practice the
Right.
braiding. So
Yeah.
even with the
Exactly.
leather,
Yeah.
some other fun differences are like, of course, stretching the leather is different. Not just cutting out the strands, but trimming skiving the edges, paring the corners. Um, that is really, it's a unique skill set and just something you have to practice.
Mm-hmm.
I actually talked to Blake, and he sent me a whole bag of a bunch of scraps and broken strands that he had, and I just tried to take off a half a millimeter at a time at a
Oh,
45-degree
wow.
angle on the corner, down the entire length, until I shredded the entire bag of leather. I just spent days and days doing nothing but that, just to drill it in, so that when I get one I actually want to be right, then I'll have the skill set to do it.
Got it.
And it's still, for me, it's not super easy.
Yeah.
No, that's going to take years, and
Right.
so many. Yeah, from what I don't make them, I just crack them. But from what I've heard, I mean, between nylon and leather, it is just night and day. You can't even compare the two.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different skill set.
Yep. Yeah. There are the overlaps, but when you start getting, and like some of the other podcasts on the Whipcast that Nick was doing, you can listen to. I think the one with Franco Zaccali. They were talking about how different ways of mixing the shellac to coat it when you're done. Another podcast, they were talking about like leather dressing and plating soap, different recipes, and whether it'll darken the leather or not. And there's just so many different little niches you can get into
Yeah.
that are different, and you just have to dive in, start. And of course you can buy that. Let's see, oh, it's on the other side of the room. But yeah, you can buy some of the soap, you can buy some of the leather dressing, stuff like that, and just work on one piece at a time. That's a good question though. When are you starting?
I don't know. After all those details, like I've got stuff. I mean, it's just a matter of like, okay, let's jump in. So I'll let you know. I'll be picking your brain. I'm gonna be reaching out to the community. Like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
Well, first let's pick a type of whip you want to make. You want to do a 6-foot bull whip or something?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
stock whip,
It's gonna just be a bullwhip and stuff for now. So I haven't
Okay.
branched out into like stock whips or anything, snake whips, none of that yet. So
Do you have Johnny
I
Green's
do.
book?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I got his book, and I also have Ron Edwards' book and stuff, and David
Okay.
Morgan's. So
Well,
yeah.
I think you're well
The
set.
Bible.
Johnny's book is amazing.
Yeah, it was really helpful. Like even just like for the paracord part, like I learned a lot too, just like how to do the different measurements and stuff. So it was really helpful.
Do you not have my book?
Oh well,
It's a pop-up book with dinosaurs. You don't have it?
No, send me a copy and sign it, please.
Everyone else has a book. Christian just wrote a book too.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's everybody's writing books these days.
Oh my
What to do?
Uh, Do you
Oh,
have someone that you look up to, like a favorite whip maker, that if you could emulate a style? I know you visited with Tori, but
I
there's lots of whip
did.
makers out
There
there.
are. I know just a few of them. So I don't know what I was thinking when I asked this question, but I don't want to offend anybody. But you know, I do admire Tori's braiding style and
Hmm.
a lot of his work. So right now, like he might be my one right now. But there's a
Sure.
lot of really talented whip makers out there. So like don't hate me.
No, Tori's
Right?
amazing, and I love his
Yeah.
style.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I like it. So
And he's not that far away from you.
he's not. I know. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a nice little visit. Like back, we went to Disneyland, and instead of getting a lightsaber, I bought a bullwhip. So
Perfect. I
yeah.
love
So
it.
he's like right there. But yeah, it
fantastic.
was fun. Yeah.
Love it.
Priorities. Uh,
Uh, so let's see what else can we talk about here? We have a list of some questions and some notes. Or if
oh,
you
I
guys
do
have
have a
any for me.
question. This
Yes.
one. Okay. So all right. So I asked Christian one. Now, Keith, I have questions for you too. Because you know anyone who's starting out, let's say a YouTube channel or like for social media, like what kind of suggestions would you have for somebody who's starting out and doing stuff like that for like whip videos? What's your
Well,
process?
you know, we discussed this the other night. You kind of, you know, there's always so much. There's kind of different categories of like
Right.
a lot of people just do routine. Some do instructional stuff. Some do targeting stuff. You know, different things. You kind of just have to find your niche and really figure out what you want to do. The actual, you know, putting stuff on YouTube super easy. You just once you do it a few times. The editing of the videos I think is important.
Yeah.
Keep them short. Keep them pithy. Uh, People seem to have a very short attention span these days. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep things very short and precise. If they're too long or whatever, people just kind of tune out.
Yeah.
And I'm just as guilty as anybody else, I'm sure. But I think that this technical age we're in, everyone's just got a very short attention span.
Yeah.
Try to make things interesting. Like the thing that you're talking about doing with yours, I think is great because you're not only do you craft, but you're also making, and you do paracord, and you're getting into leather, and we discussed maybe doing a video with you or doing a repair on a whip, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like
Right.
that. I think trying to keep it fun and short clips and eclectic. Try to do different things with the whips and I even branched out a few months ago, and I told myself I'd never do instructional videos because there's just so many
Yeah.
things out there,
Right.
and most things have already been done. But I would get the same questions all the time, and finally I was just like, I'm tired of explaining this. I'm just going to make a video. So
Right.
when people ask me, I can just shoot them the video. So I've just got a few things about some targeting, the proper bullwhip grip, and I think I did how to tie a cracker on a fall.
Right. Yeah.
Just super easy stuff, but a lot of people don't know, especially when they're starting out. So I just
Right.
things like that, you know, some instructional stuff, some fun things.
Yeah.
I think there's all kinds of stuff that I think that it's wide open. A lot of people are doing some really fun videos now. I love to watch them. I'm just a fan, and that's why I do what I do. I try to put out things that I would want to watch.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I like that, Keith. And it seems like you gain the most traction. It's like you build inertia. When you post one on a regular basis, it
Mm-hmm.
seems like they build out number of views and comments and interaction. Would you say that's accurate?
I think so. It's always super exciting when I put one out and then it gets a big response.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
because you know, I really try to, you know, it's not about me at all. I try to expand what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I love whips. I love the whole art of it. It's fun, and the more people we can bring into it, the more people buy whips, the more people are into it. It grows exponentially, and more people make a living doing it. People can do it as a hobby or do kind of like what you do part time. But when you do make one, you absolutely love it. So that's mainly why I do it. It's not only fun to see good comments and things, but to know that it might reach that person. I mean, I had people contact me from Russia
Wow.
and
That's
places
wild.
like that, and ask me, "Hey, well, when you're doing this technique, how do you do this?" I'm like, "Well, and so much of it is fine tuning. I'll say, send me a video. I'll see their video, be like, and I'll send them a picture. Like, if you'll just hold it a little bit like this, or when you're doing this crack, tilt your wrist a little bit more, and then they'll do it, and then like, okay, I got it. Because there's that magic moment, right, when you get the technique and you feel it, and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah,
And,
right.
and when they
It's exciting.
and when somebody from anywhere in the world contacts
Right?
me and I'm able to bridge that gap and help them with something, it's just fantastic. I mean,
There's not too many people, especially actively making videos, that are focused on targeting.
Hmm.
that's
I
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Was it Isaac Eliason? I think he
Oh
does
yeah.
his
Yeah,
The
I see
Fruit
too.
Ninja.
the Fruit
Yeah,
Ninja.
right?
Yes, yeah, he
Yeah.
does some on a pretty regular basis as well.
Yeah, Fruit Ninja
But
Fridays, yeah.
right for Fruit Ninja Friday,
That's
exactly.
right. That's right.
Yeah, if anybody watching this hasn't seen his videos, definitely look him up.
Yeah,
On mostly on
he's got a
Instagram.
great style.
Instagram, yeah, right.
Yeah,
He's got a great sense of humor, and I love that. He's I don't take myself seriously. I know you guys don't either. He seems like that kind of guy too. He's just in it for the fun,
Right.
and he's brought his wife into it like I did, and I'm sure anytime you're out doing stuff with your spouse that you both really enjoy, that's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a great video, and you can tell they're having fun with it. And I mean, you can't do better than that. And it's anything that strengthens a marriage. I'm all for that.
Right, absolutely.
I know
Pulls the crack together.
Yeah, and Christian takes Amy out, and they whip and all that stuff, and just it's great to watch. And she's very good too.
Yeah, I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of her. She practices.
Nice.
Actually, one thing that she's better at that with her practice routines than I am is whatever she does, she will not progress until she can do it in both hands equally.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Like
That's
she gets one
awesome.
crack
That's
down
really
and she
good.
will work on that left hand, or she'll only
Nice.
be able to do it in the left hand. And she will work on it until she can get it in her right. I am
Props.
very impressed with that.
Yeah, that's
And
great. Yeah.
That takes discipline, because there's some things I'm better at with right and some I'm better with my left, and I'm definitely not equal with targeting with both hands. So there's that kudos to her that she can do that.
Right. And it's like a lot of skills. It's a physical skill, a lot of it's muscle memory, and to a degree your right hand can teach your left hand, I think they say in piano. And she plays piano, so that's one of the things she talks about. But still, you have to practice it with that left hand also. It'll be easier once you've learned it with your right, but you do have to spend that time.
Yeah.
But do you have any particular practice routines, Kat? Or regimen?
So I'm in the Whip 101 challenge. So usually it's like practicing whatever challenge of the month is. I do find myself going back to, I think it was Todd Rex's challenge back in April.
Yeah.
That one's really comfortable for me. I do a lot of the wrist rolls and stuff for warm-ups, and then the slow
I
figure
still
eights.
stink at those.
Oh, it's so fun when you get it though. It looks so cool, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It looks so cool.
So that's one of my
And the
favorite
one
things that kind
you
of
did the wrist roll when you were in the ocean. That video you posted. Oh, that was so awesome. Just so
I'm
casual
excited.
and just she's gonna drop her whip in the water. Oh,
I know,
did.
right?
That's
I'm
great.
scared. I know that was like the new whip that I got from Tori, and he's like, you should probably keep it in the upper plane. Don't be like dragging that thing in the sand in the water, right? So it was like very important that I didn't drop the whip into the water.
And you did a wrist roll.
Well, Kat always goes to these great locations to film videos too. It's like you did that one where you were dressed as Indy and you were out in the rocks and stuff like that. It looks so cool.
The rock, yeah, that's like by my kids' school and stuff. They had like a bunch of undeveloped area, and I was like, well, let's just go here and film this, right? So yeah, it worked out really well. But my husband Rick, he's really good about he's my location scout. He's really good about the camera angles and this and that. So he's been really helpful in helping me film things. So do you have someone like that in your life? Yeah.
The couple that cracks together stays together.
That's right. See?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Even if he doesn't crack, that he's involved with it.
He just started. He picked it up the other night, and he was like he was gonna crack. So
What?
I have footage.
How old is he?
I know. How old is he?
Your husband or your son?
My husband.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your son.
Yeah, no,
Like,
and then my son, he kind of picked it up along the way, like last year too. He had an interest, and then he kind of like waned, and the video game thing, whatever. But
Right.
just recently he picked it up again. But yeah, no, my husband too. He was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna try this, right? And so he got a couple cracks. So
Oh, that's
Right.
fantastic! I didn't know.
I know,
that.
right? Yeah, right. Actually, yeah. I'll show you guys.
yeah,
Oh, that's great.
I have to see that.
Right.
Is your son pretty good at it? Is he?
You know what? He picked up. He wanted to do this past challenge with me and stuff. So he was
Ooh.
actually doing it. So we submitted like level 1 for a couple months. So yeah, and I made him a new whip. It's with the glow paracord. So
Ooh, cool.
he'll have a glowy whip, right? Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, my son, our middle son, he participated in the LA virtual challenge this past year.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
he got a
awesome.
shout out for the youngest participant. So
Oh,
at
that's awesome.
7.
That's
7 years old.
awesome.
Dude,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it was great.
See?
So
Though it gives him that confidence, right?
right. Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And actually, we won a drawing for one of Tori's short bullwhips.
Oh, nice.
And because we submitted a video, and
That's
so
awesome.
he's very excited and feels like, his submission won. Like
Yeah.
he won. Of course, he didn't win the single hand routine. He didn't beat out Todd or anybody, but
What?
but yeah, I know. He was this close, but no.
Coming for you.
But yeah, it was very encouraging for him. And
Nice. See, that's good.
very
That's what the
cool.
community is all about, right?
Right.
Like
And that
building up the next like generation of like whip crackers and doing
Yes.
something that's like, not sitting in front of the computer, right?
exactly.
Yeah, get out, get some sun. Get outside.
Vitamin D, right? Be active.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with a little video game here and there, but get outside and get some sun too.
Mhm. Exactly, right?
Everything in moderation, right?
Yes, exactly.
How about you, Keith? Do you have a regular scheduled whip exercise routine or practice? Are you
Nope.
kind of you're at the pinnacle?
I usually what happens is I wake up in one of my moods and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to do that. And I go out and do that. And sometimes I'll be out there for an hour and sometimes I'll be out there for 5 minutes. Sometimes I'll just go out and just kind of go through the basics. Sometimes with leather, sometimes with nylon. It's basically just whatever mood I get in that day. I'll go through spurts where I only want to use long whips. And then I'll go through a spurt where I just want to use a 5.5. My go-to is kind of a 7. But sometimes, I've got to have the long. Sometimes I got to have the shorter. It's just, I just play it by mood. Luckily, I'm not doing anything. I don't make a living at it. So I can just do what I feel like when I feel like it, which
Sure.
is nice.
Right.
So yeah, I don't have any kind of a set schedule or routine. I'll just go out. The things I do is the same philosophy I had with, I was in martial arts for a long time. And I learned all the fancy flippy stuff to get to the rank that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got to the rank I wanted, I discarded about 99% of it. I think the best stuff with whips is the more basic stuff, the stuff that you can target with. So that's mainly what I practice. I practice a little bit of the fancier stuff, but mainly I stick with the basic cracks, basic routines and stuff like that, and then implement targeting with that. So that's my whole focus.
Cool. I like that. And do you ever feel like there's a big gap between what you're trying to do and what you're able to do? And how do you approach that? How do you tackle that problem?
There's only been a couple of things that I've ever really wanted to do that I've not been able to nail yet. And basically what the best thing to do, not that that's never happened, but it's like if I can't do something today, I'll just put it down, step away from it, do something completely different for a while. And usually a week goes by, maybe a month, I'll go out and all of a sudden I can do it.
Wow.
I think it's important not to force things. Just I'm kind of a go with the flow kind of guy. And so I just kind of let it happen. And sometimes the best I do is after I've taken a break for a while. Sometimes I might not pick up a whip for a month, but then when I go back to it, all of a sudden I'm kind of at a different level. So anytime that I'm frustrated, I just put it down, go inside, leave it alone, because get in a different mindset and you come back and then you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's really impressive. I found that, if I put it down, I'm always come back at a different level. It's usually a lower level, but
No, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, so much of this whip stuff is just like the martial arts. It's all in the mind. The body will go where the mind tells it to go.
yeah.
And if you're not coming at it from a place of relaxation and confidence and just having fun with it, if you're trying to force it, you're probably not going to find it.
Yeah.
Something very zen about that.
That's so true. Actually, I was just telling my wife the other day, I was practicing the backwards overhead, so cracking it behind you,
Right.
which is kind of scary the first time you do it, because the whip is coming at your face over top of your head, or more like this.
It feels really goofy at first.
It does. And I was put the glasses, the hat, the jacket, and I
full
beat
face
I should have, because I was covered in welts. Let me tell you, I hit myself so many times.
One where you had the big welt?
Yeah, that was the day. That one, and it was getting to the point, I was just getting so frustrated that when I would bring it back forward, I was like catching myself across the back and my calves, and I put that down, and the next day I could do it.
Yep.
And it just didn't hit myself again. Basically, that I don't think I've ever hit myself on that crack again.
Nice. See?
It's almost like magic. You'll force it, you force it, it won't come. You put it down, you come back the next day, all of a sudden you can do it.
There you go.
And soon as it's in there, it's in there. You never have to think about it again.
Yeah.
There is part of it that's like riding a bike.
Wonderful thing.
Yeah,
it's
right. Yeah.
Truly amazing. Kat, have you had an experience like that where you tried to force it, can't do it? And come back and there it is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Same thing. It's like anytime I was trying, like to get like a certain routine, it's like, okay, quick, we got to get it down. And then, you're stressed about it and stuff. And then like when you're moving on to something else, and then it's like, oh, I guess I can do it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the helicopter was a horrible one for me to try to learn.
Oh my goodness.
There was something about the second crack. I just couldn't nail it. And I put that down for like a year. Didn't even try it for like a year. And then one day I went outside and I'm like, I can do the helicopter today. And I went out and I did it. And I was like, come on, man. Like that.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. But that was the hardest thing that for whatever reason, I couldn't get the second crack. But I finally nailed it after like a year. So that's just how my crazy brain works. I don't know.
I've been practicing Hassett's Four Corners for a couple of years now. And I occasionally will get 4, maybe even 8 cracks in a row. And I'm like, yes, I'm doing, and then I can't do it again for a while. It's pretty tricky. But I think it's one of those things to where I just have to continue to practice and continue to, that one, honestly, I need to continue to build arm strength because of the flex overhead, basically.
That one looks
Right.
just like,
it's
I'm not
crazy.
there yet.
But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things to where I just continue practicing, and then just one day it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched Tori do it, and he looks so relaxed and makes it look so easy.
Right.
And
Like a lot of people make it look easy. Like,
Tori is smooth, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that guy is awesome.
Well, guys, this has been a wonderful chat. I don't want to keep you too terribly long. We've been going for almost 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful chat. Are there any other questions you have for me or each other?
Kat, what are your future goals in whip cracking? What are you looking at?
Well, gotta keep going, gotta keep improving. Like I want the basics to be smooth. I want to have I want it to just be like that, very smooth. Everything just like effortless, and pick up the new tricks when I can. But yeah.
So you're sound like you're in it just like Christian. I mean, you're just out having fun and just
Yeah,
want to learn new stuff and improve what
Yeah.
you've already got.
exactly. Yep, that's it,
Exactly.
right? That's all we can hope for.
How about you, Keith?
Really, I'm just kind of going with the flow. I do have one whip in the pipeline that's going to be built. Blake Bruni is making me a 9-foot kangaroo stiletto, and yeah,
Fun.
really looking forward to that. There's just something magical about that 9-foot length, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of targeting videos with that. So that's kind of on the horizon.
Very fun. I'll be interested to see that.
How about you, brother? What do you got going on?
Well, I'm continuing to do the monthly challenges. I've been enjoying learning. Every month I learn something new. Even though, like, I went through a bunch of videos that Adam had and a bunch of other stuff, and I like, okay, I know all the simple cracks. I can do all those, and I can go out and have lots of fun and have plenty of cracks to do. And then, somebody will mention the Maltese Falcon or something, and I'm like, I have heard of that. I don't know how to do it. I should go out and watch some videos and learn how to do that. Or like I mentioned earlier, the wrist rolls. I need to continue practicing that. But yeah, I want to have fun. I enjoy having something to work toward. I like when I go out to have a goal. Um,
I'm the same way. I'm very goal oriented.
right, right. So I know that I'll make a 3x5 card with all the different cracks, and I'll have it in my pocket, and I'll try and get one at a time, and then I'll try and string 2 or 3 of them together until I can do the whole challenge. And I like having that assignment as with a specific goal. But as far as making whips, I have some goals there as well, and I definitely want to continue with the kangaroo and getting better at all of this. However, being here in Fort Worth, Texas, the home of the Fort Worth stockyards, there's quite the cattle culture here, and everybody that's what people want, is they want the cowhide. So that one I just sold actually was through that venue from someone that heard my name down there, and they wanted cow. So all the cowboys that work down there and do all the demonstrations, they all strictly use cowhide whips. So I feel some inspiration from that. Just, I'm born and raised here, and I want to continue to get better at that. It's a different animal. Cow versus kangaroo.
Oh yeah.
Surprise. It's actually a different animal. It's but I mean, it's different. It's got more stretch to it, and it's a little more crumbly. It's not quite as strong when you get narrower, a bunch of stuff like that. And learning how to work with the cowhide versus the kangaroo is a different process. A lot of it's the same, but a lot of it's different too. And I want to get better at both. So I think I've made 2 whips now in a row of the cowhide. Before that was 4 rawhide, and now I'll make another rawhide, I think, now. So just kind of keep going back and forth and continue getting my skills up. But yeah, I'm having lots of fun with it. I think I told you a while back, Keith, that I want to be able to make a Joe Strain style whip that's on par with that. I have found that using a Joe Strain style whip is actually really heavy. And it's such a beautiful work of art. I love it. It's rugged, but it's also beautiful. And the Morgan style, I guess, in addition to the Joe Strain style. So that's part of why I wanted to learn from Blake. And I'm getting there. My laces don't lay as beautifully glass smooth as some people's and things like that. But yeah, I enjoy the high plat count stuff from time to time. I haven't done much with it, but I want to get there. So, anyways,
Fantastic.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So, is there social media or anything where if people wanted to find more out about Keith or Kat, they could go.
Well, mine, I've got my YouTube channel, Bullwhip Fun with Keith and Princess Stephanie. A lot of silly videos on there. I'm also on TikTok at Whipmaster Flash.
I love that.
I wanted to use my real name, but it was already taken, so I had to use a nickname.
Oh, very good. Yeah, you have lots of great videos up there. Everybody
Thank
should
you
go
very much.
subscribe to both
Right?
places.
Yeah. That's
How about you,
awesome.
Kat? Where can people
I'm
stalk
just
you?
I'm on Instagram, Sin City Kitty with 3 T's because also the name was taken, and I just started a YouTube channel under the same name, so we'll see where that goes. If not, I'm just
Okay.
Cat Simple. So
Awesome. And of course, if you want to see some of my whips and my work, I am Texas Whips on Facebook. You can look it up there. And I have Instagram and Facebook stuff, but yeah, the Facebook Texas Whips is the best place to find me and my stuff. But thank you guys. This has been a pleasure to chat with you, and
thank you.
hopefully this will continue to bring the whip community together, as well as build out and grow our whip community.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Great times, guys. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.